Hi, good morning, POWIIS. Can we have some silence, please? We are really privileged this morning to welcome a very special guest to our school. And at the end of this session, we will open it up for question and answers. I have mics. If you're really keen on asking questions, please make sure that you move forward faster or put a hand up really high so that we can see you. Okay, let me just start. Mr. Chi-Ren Choong was born and raised in Penang. He spent his high school years in Dalat School, much like you guys in POWIIS, and then he got his degree from Columbia University in New York City. He's currently the head of creative division for Double Vision in KL. He is also a writer and director. He wrote, voice acted in, and co-directed a series called Saladin, the Animated Series, which was nominated for an International Emmy Award in 2011. He also wrote the first season of Rimba Racer, which won the Best Animated Series at Film Festival Malaysia 2015. His other writing credits include Tombiru, Penunggu Rimba, Police Evo 2, and The Assistant. He was the head writer of both seasons of the award-winning Asian adaptation of The Bridge, and was a story producer on another Asian remake of an existing format, Astro's Liar. For those of you who are interested in a career in filmmaking or writing, or if you're just curious about what it's like in this industry, well, you are in luck. Mr. Choong will share with you some of his invaluable insights, and then we will open up the floor for some questions. Anyway, please give a big, warm round of applause for Mr. Choong Chi-Ren.
Hello, good morning. Okay, when Dean asked me to do this, I thought I'd be speaking to a class. There's significantly more of you than I thought. That's okay. So, yes, so I am been in the film industry probably longer than most of you have been alive, so I'm very old. And now I'm depressed. Thanks for that. If you are interested in this, please feel free to pay attention. If not, just take a nap. It's fine. I won't be offended. So I am, for the most part, a writer. Why? Mainly for two reasons. One, I believe in stories. I believe there's a universal emotion in stories that connects us. It's a thing that can bring together people of different races, cultures, ages, and it's a really beautiful thing when it's done right. Is that me? Okay, and can connect people together. That's one reason I'm a writer. The other reason is that when I was trying to decide when I was your age what I wanted to do for a living, I came to the conclusion that I didn't want to get up early in the morning, I didn't want to go to an office and work from 9 to 5, and I didn't want to wear pants as much as possible. I discovered that being a writer was pretty perfect for that, so that's pretty much one of the other reason why I became a writer. So basically, if it's okay with you guys, I'll just kind of briefly go over my CV, some of the stuff that I've done, and then some of the lessons that I've kind of picked up in the industry, and then open it up to any questions that you might have. So basically, I fell in love with this stuff when I was pretty much your age, high school. For the most part, I thought school when I was just some things where you studied, you got good grades, didn't really care about anything, but as long as you got good grades, your parents left you alone. But then I discovered theater and acting, and I fell in love with that. And so then I threw myself fully into theater and acting. Wasn't a very good actor, but still, it was a lot of fun. There were pretty girls. What is there to complain about? So then after that, I went to college, studied film with a concentration in screenwriting, did a lot more theater, and decided or discovered that I actually preferred the behind-the-scenes stuff more than acting. Writing, directing, putting productions together, that was the fun part. So then I graduated, came back to Malaysia, and was raring to take over and become a writer, and then nothing happened for about 10 years. Just struggling, people wouldn't hire me. Well, I wasn't very good, so, I can understand why they wouldn't hire me. I would get jobs. Some of them would turn out into not very good productions. Others wouldn't get made. So it was a really frustrating time, but I was still sort of hammering my head against the wall, trying to make a living as a writer because, well, I'm stubborn and also too stupid to realize I should have done something else with my life. So then after that, I finally got my break, which is that show there. And that was mainly luck. It was meeting a woman who was in charge of the production in a pitching conference in Singapore, introduced myself as a writer. She needed a writer for this project. She remembered my name, asked my friend that she knew for my number, called me, and asked me if I was interested. Because I really didn't have much going on, I was like, yeah, of course I'm interested. So then I was crazily enough hired to write this show, completely unqualified for the job, but again, stubborn, stupid, so I did it anyway. And for some reason, they made me co-director of the project, and that was sort of the next few years of my life. That was, of course, a lot of incredible amount of work. Nothing teaches you more about writing and whether your writing is good or bad than actually seeing it put up on the screen, and then you realize that, oh, that scene should have been better, that scene should have been longer, I needed more dialogue here, less dialogue here. You learn more from doing than you ever do learning, in my opinion. So then after that, I threw myself fully into the animation industry, wrote cartoons. After a few years, I kind of burned out on it, and then decided to become a development executive at this company called ID8, where you basically you were sort of developing international projects for Malaysia and the world. I forgot my own advice, and I ended up having to go to an office in the morning and wear pants. So that was a miserable 6 months. But the one good thing about that experience was that we were submitted scripts, so many scripts from writers in Hollywood. And Hollywood was this mythical place in my mind where, I was just a Malaysian writing here, but those Hollywood writers, they really knew what they were doing. And then we got scripts, so many scripts from them, and so many of them were absolutely terrible, just horrible, horrible. And then I came to the realization, I may not be the best writer in the world, but if they can make a living at doing this, I can do this. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to throw myself fully into live action production. And luckily, after leaving ID8, that's when I managed to write a few movies. As Dean said, co-write The Bridge, which is available on Netflix. If you guys want to, actually, given your age, you might be a bit too young to check it out. So do not check out The Bridge, but trust me, it was very good. Okay, so that currently taken me to my current job, which is head of creative for Double Vision, which is a company that produces content for the local market, for the regional market, which is Southeast Asia, and we're now looking to branch out to the international market. We have partners in the UK and in LA, and we are trying to currently get a little bit delayed by that. But, given the strikes and the fires and COVID, we've been a little bit delayed by that. So currently, that's where we are. We've currently just finished shooting a movie, which we are editing now, which should be released by the end of the year, called Mojoku Hilang, which is a lovely little kampong comedy. So that's kind of my CV in a brief nutshell. So if I could, I'll sort of move on to sort of the lessons I've learned sort of over the years. The most important thing, one of the most important things I think is to go through the open door. One of the mistakes I made when I was trying to be a writer is trying to predetermine what kind of writer I wanted to be. I wanted to be an artist, I wanted to write theater, but that was the kind of art that I wanted to do. But I think the mistake I made was not taking the opportunities that were presented to me. The luckiest thing I ever did was getting a job writing for cartoons, a job that I never thought I would ever do, but when I did it, I realized how much I loved it, and I learned so much more about my craft doing it. And that was the open door, and I walked through it. And I've kind of done that ever since, where if there's an opportunity, if it's something that I feel maybe I can't do it, maybe it's really challenging, maybe I'll fail at it, but you know what? It's an opportunity. Grasp it, try it, see if you can pull it off. The second thing, if you want to get into the creative field, is I think you have to determine also there are two kinds of creatives, in my opinion. You are either a craftsman or you're an artist. If you're an artist, I liken it more to like a painter or a poet, and that kind of works in your writing or painting or your filmmaking or whatever, in that you feel that this is an expression of your heart, your personal soul. And so as long as that expression is there, you're happy. And if 5 people like it, or 500 people like it, or 5 million people like it, it doesn't matter because you're expressing self. If you do that, you're an artist. The other thing is more, I feel, is what I am, which is a craftsman, which is I'm interested in writing sort of mass entertainment for as many people as possible. And in doing that, you have to learn the rules, the structure of if you make a horror film, it better be scary. If you make a comedy, it better be funny. It doesn't really matter what your personal expression is, or it does, but not to the extent of the most important thing is the audience you're trying to reach and the emotions you're trying to communicate. So I liken it to, if you're a craftsman, then writing a movie or writing a television show, it's no different than making a chair, where you can put whatever beauty in the chair you want, whatever personal expression in the chair you want, but at the end of the day, people better be able to sit down on it, otherwise it's useless. The other thing I can tell you is don't specialize. Learn everything. Regardless of what you want to do as an artist, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a writer, if you want to be a director, don't just learn that. Everything you learn in this field helps you be better at what you want to do. So if you want to be a writer, learn about acting, learn about directing, learn about costume, makeup, lighting, camera work. Everything you learn, no matter how you think it doesn't apply, will funnel itself into your writing and will make you better at it. The other thing to remember is production is more, film and TV production, when you're actually making things, it's more about problem solving than it is about battle. They say that no plan survives battle. That is production. For example, when I was writing The Bridge, the first season of that show was done what we call block shooting, in which you're shooting out of order, you're shooting it by location, so no episode is ever fully finished. So you get little pieces of episodes until you get to the end. Midway through production, our lead actor tore a muscle in his leg. So basically we had 3-4 weeks left of production. He could only sit for the first week, stand for the second week, and take 1 step for the third week. When you're making an action show about a policeman chasing after a serial killer, it becomes very difficult to do when your lead actor cannot stand. So basically, we had to rework the scripts on the fly in the middle of production in order to suit our actor who couldn't sort of walk. So that is nothing to do with creativity. It has to do with just, this is the problem, and you've got to solve it. Another thing, if you're wanted to do in the creative line, most creative people or most writers, we would much prefer to be alone in a room with a computer, staying away from everybody and just writing. But if you want to get into this line, you have to learn how to deal with people. People skills and being able to communicate is absolutely necessary. Because when your script goes into production, you're going to be talking to designers, actors, directors, cameramen, all these people, and they're going to be asking you questions about your story, and you're going to have to be able to explain it and convey the emotion of it and what you're trying to convey to everyone. So and also, if they like you, they're probably more likely to do a good job for you. So people skills are ultimately so important in this line of work. I think one thing I love about this job, film industry, it's that it's the ultimate team sport. If you've seen a movie you love, you maybe will notice the actor or you'll notice a line of dialogue. But what you don't know is all the people who've had to work so hard, working in unison to make that moment work for you. In that it's not just the actor, it's the dialogue that was written for them, the costuming, the makeup, the lighting, the cameraman and the lens that he chose, the editor and the take that she chose to cut it together. All these things have to work in unison to make a great story. And everyone needs to be on the same page to do so. And finally, I think what I'll leave you with, one of the most important things I think I've learned is that hard work beats talent every time. Like, it's great to have talent, it's great to have skills, but there were much more talented people than me that didn't quite make it because they were lazy. If you want to do this, you have to grow a thick skin, you have to deal with rejection, you have to deal with not being very good and getting better and better at your craft and just keep going at it. Hard work beats talent every time. Okay, so I think that's it from me. That's just kind of the general things. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free.
Okay. If any of you has a question, please put up your hand. We don't have a lot of time, so we might be able to take about 3 questions max.
May I know how did you challenge the conventions? Because like when I was studying media studies, I'm a media studies student.
Yep.
And then I found out that when I'm making a video or making a story, I want to follow the monomyth, just as monomyth as an example.
Yep.
And then I want to follow the concept. But however, when I'm following the concept, the story might be a little bit boring. And I want to do something like out of the blue.
Yep.
So I want to challenge the conventions, but sometimes I just found out that it is very hard to break the concept, and
Yes.
it is not safe. So may I know how did you go through this?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I was saying about being a craftsman. So basically, with every kind of genre, everything, there is a structure to it. There are rules to it. Like for a horror movie, for example, most of the structure of a horror movie is there's the natural world, the thing enters into that world causing chaos. By the end of it, the thing is destroyed and the world goes back to normal. And again, there's structures to comedy, thrillers, all that kind of stuff. And there's beats to it. So I find that, I think the most important thing about breaking the rules and breaking structure is you have to fully understand the rules first. Fully understand why is it that these pieces are in place? Why is it over 100 years of film, these are the rules that have been sort of established for this particular genre. And then once you do that, you can start breaking it. I think one rule that I kind of have is whatever the rules are, whether you're breaking it or not breaking it, the most important thing about your stories is they have to emotionally connect with an audience. If the audience is not emotionally engaged, it doesn't matter how brilliant your concept is, it doesn't matter. All that matters really is, does the audience care? So if you're breaking the rules and you're making it more interesting for yourself, but you feel you're alienating your audience, then I think in that case it's maybe best to back it up a little bit more convention. But you're right, sometimes if you just follow the conventions, it can get boring.
We have one more question here.
How useful do you think studying theater and script writing was in getting jobs and like improving?
Okay, 2 questions there. Getting jobs? I don't know, not so much. But it kind of gets your foot in the door, I think, sometimes. When you say that, oh, I have a film degree, it'll definitely, some people who will give you a chance based on that. But you have to prove yourself the moment you get your foot in the door. So I think it might help in getting you the chance, but as far as getting the job, you have to do that based on your own work. What was the other thing? Studying and what else?
Here?
Wait, hold on. Did that answer your question? Okay, cool.
Are you wearing pants today?
Yes, that's how much I love you guys. I am wearing pants. I actually was thinking of coming in a sarong, but I changed my mind at the last minute. But whoa, because it's really early.
Yes, and he is actually telling the truth. Most of the time, he hangs out in a sarong. All right, I think we are out of time, but I hope that this has been useful for most of you, or at least a few of you, to give you a little insight into the film industry and another option for career if you ever so choose to consider it.